Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We are here for the 2023.3 release overview. Before we start, I just want to let everybody know that this session is being recorded. All attendees are in listening mode only, but we do want to hear your questions and feedback. So we do encourage you to please use the Q&A panel. The product team is online. They're going to be answering questions real time as we go through the presentation. This presentation is intended to outline our general product direction. It's intended for informational purposes only. It may not be incorporated into any contract. It is not a commitment to deliver any material, code, or functionality and should not be relied upon in making purchasing decisions. The development, release, and timing of the features or functionality described in Reltio's product remains at the sole discretion of Reltio. And here is our agenda today. We have a lot to cover in the 2023.3 release. I'm going to kick it off by turning it over to Ayan Basu, and he's going to take you through part of it, and then Shashant Raya is going to pick us up in the end. Good morning, Ayan.
Thank you, Terry. Hi, everybody. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Very excited to be here today to talk about our 2023.3 release. Action-packed release, a lot of things that we're going to cover this morning. So just get ready to be excited and thrilled at what we're going to announce here. So before we get started with the release, I just wanted to take 30 seconds to do a quick overview, a 30-second primer on our Reltio platform. So we are a cloud-native MDM solution available across all three hyperscalers, AWS, GCP, and Azure. Security is a first-class citizen for us, so we make sure we're compliant against all security regulations and policies. We are a high-performance, low-latency platform, and we are AI ML ready at our foundation. So on our foundation, we have our core master data management capabilities, things like entity resolution, reference data management, data quality, and these are capabilities that we continually enhance and improve and optimize. And then the very top layer is our industry solutions, our out-of-the-box, pre-packaged products that offer very quick time to value. Next slide, please. So jumping into the release highlights for 23.3, starting at the top with data activation, excited to announce new enhancements to our velocity packs and also announcing a brand new data enrichment integration, which I'll talk about in a second. On the data unification side, a number of things to announce. Excited to talk about developments on the pre-trained machine learning front with our matching models. We announced our HCP model in the last release. More developments on that front, including some really exciting work on the individual entity type. With our rules-based matching, we have automatic unmerge now available, which will reduce a lot of the manual work that's done by data stewards. So introducing more productivity into the process. With data quality, we have new support functions for data validation functions for relationships and sources. And then data quality additionally has been enhanced by machine learning. So extremely excited to talk about our early access for anomaly detection to detect any unusual data drifts or changes in data. And then lastly, on the data unification front is workflows. With workflows, we've dramatically simplified and optimized the development of workflows and deployment of workflows. So you don't have to submit tickets any longer. You can do a lot of this work yourself. So we're giving you the power to develop and deploy workflows. And then lastly, Azure and EU is now available. So our data centers are now up and running in Ireland. Next slide, please. So first, I'm going to start off with data activation. Life sciences, we're excited to announce our patient data domain, which is now available as part of the Velocity Pack. Next slide. So if you might be part of a life sciences company today, if you're on this call, But the value that we're providing to life sciences companies with patient data is the ability to support research, drug development, clinical trials to improve the health of the population, for which patient data is absolutely critical. So what we do is unify patient data from various sources and provide a holistic view of patient data, patient health history, treatments, and outcomes. And then with this enhancement, R&D teams at life sciences companies can be so much more effective in identifying and recruiting eligible participants for clinical trials. And it just speeds up the process of a trial and makes it much more efficient. And patient data can also be used in various downstream analytic systems to identify issues with healthcare that prevents patients from accessing the right type of medicine. So with this patient data enhancement, what we're doing is helping improve the effectiveness of life sciences companies, pharmaceutical companies in serving the population better and improving health outcomes. Next slide. So here we have a visual of the patient data model. As you can see, lots of attributes, relationship types, reference data. And having this in place, this data model in place, allows you to achieve the kind of outcomes that I just talked about in the previous slide. And the patient data typically comes from all kinds of sources, from pharmacies, from patient records, medical records, prescription medicines, from clinical trials, wearable devices. So with the right type of patient user consent, this data is made available. And using this data model, the data can now be inside Reltio. And then the data can also be enriched from data providers like LexisNexis, or from other sources like Axiom and Experian that have consumer data. So all of this data, this enriched patient data, can be made available in Reltio through this data model. And ultimately, the enhancement of the data model is helping life sciences companies become so much more effective in developing optimized healthcare solutions. Next slide. So here we have a view of what the patient profile looks like with this updated life sciences velocity pack with the patient data domain. You can see the patient profile data, the demographic data. You can also see the prescription medicine and the medical history. Then there's additional information about consent, communication preferences that are made available. All of this to make sure that the data that's in Reltio is compliant with regulations. Next slide. So now I'm going to switch gears and talk about our new product rollout, which is this MedPro integration. Next slide. So I want to take a couple seconds here to talk about the problem that we're solving with this MedPro integration. Typically with life sciences companies, you're going to see a lot of data around healthcare providers, healthcare organizations that's fragmented, that's siloed. And the data can become very easily outdated, especially as contact information is being changed, address data is being changed, affiliations. So with this MedPro integration, managing the healthcare provider directory becomes a lot simpler. And typically that's a cumbersome process, whether it's managing healthcare provider directories or verifying qualifications, credentials of healthcare professionals. It's all very time consuming and complex. So with this MedPro integration, that process of verification is much simpler, much more streamlined, and the directory management's much easier to take care of. And then also you have additional compliance with regulations. So through MedPro, there's also additional data that's now available, like sample eligibilities that helps pharmaceutical companies conduct clinical trials. And then lastly, with this out-of-the-box MedPro integration, risk is minimized and compliant operations are ensured as a result of this. Next slide. So right now with this pre-built integration, it's currently available in batch mode, meaning you can schedule to enrich HCO, HCP data at periodic intervals with demographic information, licensing information, eligibility data. And real time is coming soon with this integration. And then MedPro typically aggregates data from all kinds of different sources like SLN, HIN, CDS, and a bunch of different ones. And it pipes that data into Reltio and it enriches the patient data that's in Reltio. And so with this pre-built integration, you can be up and running within minutes as opposed to having to worry about creating your own integration into MedPro. So this is an enhancement and a product offering that we're really excited to provide to you. Next slide. So this is a view of what the MedPro integration looks like. What you see here is an enriched record with the data coming in from all these different sources, the MedPro sources. So in the yellow box, you see examples of that MedPro data that's coming in. So things like license, sample eligibility, names, address data for both HCOs and HCPs that are coming in and enriching the data that's inside Reltio. Next slide. So really the value that we're providing with MedPro is giving you that key licensing and demographic data and enabling you to build rich, comprehensive 360-degree views of your HCO, HCP data, and the relationships between them to drive your key business outcomes. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Sushant to walk you through the rest of the release.
Thanks, Ian. Great, exciting features in there. Continuing with the theme, right, in terms of our core platform, right, entity resolution, data quality, and other capabilities, we have some new exciting things coming along as well. Let's start with pre-trained machine learning models. As you know, we've had Match IQ capability for quite some time, right? What's the reason? What's the background of investing in this, right? We all know, right, AI, how prevalent AI ML is in every part of the business. And Reltio being the leader in space and entity resolution, as well as ML-powered capabilities, we continue to invest in initiatives or capabilities and aimed at developing features that will enhance customer satisfaction and deliver exceptional customer value in the shortest time possible, right? So we introduced machine learning-based model quite, some time ago. The pre-trained machine learning models were introduced in the last release as early access. We have made significant progress that I wanted to take you through today. So what is, how did we get about, going for this, right? So short background on Match IQ. Match IQ has been a capability for some time. It's a machine learning-based matching feature that enabled customers to create machine learning models for matching using active learning method, right? Many of our customers are using it. The drawback or the feedback that we got from customers was that customers, data stewards or administrators had to spend a lot of time, building those models, training those models, and it really needed experts to, derive insights out of that model or derive matches out of that model, right? But we are changing the game here, and what we are doing is pre-trained machine learning models for matching and merging, which means is simply that models are going to be pre-created, delivered out of the box, trained on a particular market segment, for example, life sciences and healthcare, and ready to be used in one click, right? So this will further accelerate the implementation time and enables accurate entity resolution with minimized effort. The feature is already made available to select few customers who are partnering with us, who are trying this and telling us the results of matching, accuracy based on machine learning models. Based on these results and the increased accuracy, we are making the machine learning model for HCP, healthcare professional, available to all the customers who have deployed our Life Sciences Velocity Pack. Once again, all the customers who have deployed or are in process of deploying our Life Sciences Velocity Pack will be able to use machine learning model. We will open this to all life sciences customers by end of the year, regardless if they are on Velocity Pack or not, because they'll be able to map their attribution to the machine learning features. So a lot of progress in this area. We have also started working on a person model, HCP, person or an individual model. And we'll be able to share with our customers around November timeframe to partner with us in, in testing it out and improving. This individual person model will be widely applicable across industries. And, we are working on it right now, and we'll keep sharing with you whatever progress we make. So once again, right, we will be able to deliver these high quality core data models for customers to use in a fraction of time and cost compared to previously required. Okay. At this point, also, I would like to show you a demo on how this actually looks like. So, so that you can see how simple it is to, so how simple it is to look at it, right? So here you can see on your screen, Ian, if you could confirm, you can see the video playing?
Yes, it's up.
All right. So you can simply see on the screen, right? We have a bunch of profiles that we want to match. So in your console data modeler, where you go and set up your match rules anyways, is the same location where you go, and you will see for a particular entity type, for example, HCP, which we are working on right now, a pre-trained machine learning model UI element appearing once you enable it on the top match IQ models for HCP. And you can have, this is already preset, it does not need any configuration, but you can make certain tweaks in the configuration. You can see what all required attributes it needs for training or continuous learning and continuous improvements. And once you edit the model itself, edit the configuration itself, you can decide whether you want the scope to be internal or external. Only do matching for the profiles within Reltio, or you want to use the machine learning model for external matching. So that's something that you can configure and use. You can decide to use by match by OV value as well. And then you can have, your usual configuration of creating a potential matches and setting up thresholds and things like that. So a very simple, there's configuration that you, from your familiar UI, there's nothing new to be done there. There's not an extensive set of steps to be done in JSON config. Simply go to your console UI and do the configuration. And then you can see the results on the matching UI or on the search results. So with pre-trained machine learning models, we are offering much more accurate and optimized results rather than using traditional methods. For customers who have never used Match IQ, also they will get started on machine learning models, pre-trained machine learning models, which will really cut down their time to arrive at the same amount of matching, as well as reduced, improved efficiency, lower number of hours needed by data steward to perform matching for the same amount of data, right? And a good thing with machine learning based resolution is that it will get better over time. And as your confidence increases with the models, you can make it default and reduce the reliance on manual matching by data stewards. So with that, moving to another exciting topic, right? This was one of the big asks from a lot of our customers, automated unmerge. One of the biggest hurdles that a customer face during onboarding of additional sources or data or changing the way they want to match the records to improve business value is the fear of corrupting existing consolidated data, right? With this feature, we'll talk about how we have addressed this problem, making it easier for customers to expand their business use case by bringing new data on set of existing sources or new sources altogether, and keep the merged records accurate even if the underlying data has changed, okay? So the context why, customer data changes continuously, right? You are continuously bringing data for the same set of customers you already have from different sources. And, updates to the existing data from new or existing sources trigger a need to look at already merged records. A simple example, there were 3 profiles that got merged into one, but out of those 3, the first name, which was part of your match rule, got changed. So that profile has to be taken out of the merged record, right? It has to be unmerged. But reviewing these merged records and unmerging them manually using match rules and changes to data is slow, tedious and error-prone manual process, right? Automatic merge will continuously monitor the changes to the records and keep the merged data accurate based on matching requirement by ensuring that the previously merged records are automatically merging the underlying merged records if they no longer meet the matching criteria. Okay, there'll be a bulk unmerged job that will enable customers to correct any historically merged records that no longer meet the matching criteria. How does it look? Let's take it through a few screenshots, right? So imagine there were 3 profiles having the same name, email, and identifier loaded into Reltio, and these were automatically merged based on certain match rules that were configured in the system. So 3 profiles, F1 ending with 8, 1, and 5, with having similar first names, Bob, and Robbie. Okay, all good here. What happened is, based on a certain load or a certain change, one of the records, the first name was changed from Bob to Mark, for example, right? The underlying job that is running for automatic unmerge already, figured that out and automatically unmerged one record. So our consolidated record, which is Bob David Smith Sr., now only has 2 profiles ending with 5 and 8, and both of them are just, first name as Bob, whereas the third record, which was merged before, which was ending with 1, and first name changed from Robbie or Bobby to Mark 2, is now a profile on its own, right? So this is what is happening automatically within the system. Simple configuration, you can just enable it, and it works on its own in the background. No more manual activities to unmerge profiles. Very powerful and will help with a lot of data steward productivity issues, right? They will not have to sit and do it, and they can spend their time on much more, important or other critical things that they have to do. So, as I said, right, the platform's new automatic unmerge feature will improve the productivity by eliminating need to manually unmerge. Okay, the feature is going to be available at GA, which is in mid of October, and it's part of Reltio platform. You can go ahead and give it a shot and deploy in customer systems. All right, data quality, right? We have been making strides in data quality or data observability, and we all know that how important role data quality plays in driving insightful decision making. Even a well-curated data set can be compromised with the inclusion of poor quality data from any source, right? And the data keeps on incoming. You're constantly ingesting data from multiple systems, and you need to see what is that incoming data doing to your existing high-quality data. Detecting and preventing the incorporation of such flawed data that is coming can save customers from inconvenience of rectifying these data anomalies. So we got, customers have always, there's this problem, right? That poor quality data coming from external sources can corrupt existing data. So what we have done is our machine learning model in the background always learns for the data that is coming in at all points of time and decides based on thresholds what seems to be an outlier, what seems to be a drift. So Reltio can now automatically identify outliers and unusual patterns for data stewards to review and address, right? We do a machine learning based analysis of typical patterns and data usage. Now, data stewards will get the insight that they were never getting before, and it is very, very difficult or complex to derive, based on searches. So as you can see on the screenshot, this is a time series view of fill rate of a particular attribute, for example, and the solid line is what was actually happening. But then the error bands that you're seeing here, this shaded row, shaded line, the little broader one, this band shows what is anomaly and what is a drift, right? So you can after that, you can go ahead and analyze what is happening, right? What happened at a particular date or particular week, which system did we ingest the data from, and what it did to the data quality of the Reltio. So this is extremely powerful. We are releasing it in early access, and we're looking for customers to try this out. Being part of machine learning, we would like to learn from it. If we are, overcorrecting something or, undermatching and things like that. So we would like to hear from you, and we're looking for customers to work with us on this, and we can simply enable it in your tenants. And that's why it is an early access. So if you're interested, do let us know. We will enable it in your test or production tenants, and you can give us feedback. So as I said, right, this is what it looks like. You can see these error bands on, any kind of time series charts. Specifically right now available for two types of charts: fill rates and uniqueness, right? So for any attributes where you have fill rates and uniqueness, you will be able to see error bands coming out of anomaly detection, right? Suggested by machine learning. So the value that customers get out of it is, right, you can identify and investigate the outliers that affect data quality. So you can immediately resolve them within Reltio as well as at source, right? Which will result in high quality, accurate, and consistent data sets that will drive better decision making. All right, moving on. Data validation, right? Another key aspect of data quality is preventing the bad quality data getting created in Reltio, right? Or at least getting warned about it. As you know, we have been making quite a few investments in our data validation functions. That framework where you can set up your business rules or data validation rules without writing any code, and have Reltio flag profiles which violate those rules, right? It can be in form of a warning, or you can simply stop the save of a record or a profile if certain rules are violated. So that is the data validation framework. We are adding new functions for this particular capability. So now customers will be able to monitor data coming from a particular source and create data validation functions for that particular source. So say you have data coming from DNB, and you want to say, hey, every profile that comes in from DNB has to have DUNS number. If it doesn't have DUNS number, don't persist the record, whether it's coming via API or a CSV upload or manually getting created, or at least show me a warning, right? That, hey, which ones don't have a DUNS number? Even if you decide to show warning, it will show up on your data quality dashboard. So now you can have specific rules or different rules for data coming from different sources. This is a really powerful feature, right? Another thing that is coming up on data validations, rules are still till now only applicable on entities, but now we are extending them to relationships, right? So now you can set up data validation rules on relationship attributes. For example, what start date or end date kind of rules, and end date has to be later than start date, or start date cannot be before, has to be current date or later, things like that, right? So you can now set up these rules on relationship attributes itself. And then lastly, what you can also do now is set up, include data validation rule for RDM lookup error. So you can say, hey, if an RDM lookup error exists on a particular profile, which Reltio is automatically determining, don't persist it, or don't save it, or show me a warning that there isn't an RDM lookup error on this particular profile. So 3 new functions coming up in this particular release, which will, if set up and if used, will prevent the creation of bad quality data in Reltio itself, or at least make data stewards and data admins aware of that this data is getting created. So let's like a quick demo of it. Yeah, so as you can see, this is console and data validation functions within it. These are all the validation functions already created. You can simply go to an entity where you want to create, for example, a source-based validation function, and start the creation process. For a particular, you can see all the attribute lists is there. They are system-defined attributes or crosswalk attributes. So you can start setting up your rules. I'll go a little quickly here and show, for a particular role on this profile, for example, if it's a hospital, you can say, hey, the DUNS number has to be mandatory if the source system is DNB, right? So if you see that this is a powerful feature, right? That you have created a role specifically for a particular source. You can do it for one source, or you can choose in the list to have this created a rule for a list of sources, right? So there will be 5 sources in a list, and the rule will apply to all those 5 sources. So extremely powerful in what you can set it up. As I mentioned earlier, you can also look at RDM lookup errors. So for a lookup value such as country, if there is a lookup error that exists, you can include it in the rules, and data validation functions will flag if the rule is violated. Another thing is relationship types. Now we have our data validation functions can be set up on relationships. So in console data modeler, if you go to relationship types, you will see a new tab, validation functions. This is where you come and you will see a familiar UI, and then you can start creating validation functions for relationship types, right? So very familiar UI, you can set up a warning on error. You can select a validation event, for example, create an update of a relationship, select your attributes. And if you're choosing a warning or error, you can decide your message. So exactly same UI now available for, exactly same capability as well, now available for relationships in addition to entities, right? So please give it a shot. Sources and RDM lookups is already available in preview, available in your dev tenants right now. The relationship part is coming in GA in a few weeks. Okay. Right. So that's what I say. By enabling, detection and prevention of bad quality relationships data, as well as data from a particular sources or with RDM lookup errors, we are, being loaded into Reltio. We are going to empower organizations to make informed business decisions, right? As you can see, continuous investments in data quality with every release are going to yield results for all our customers in having a better quality data, much better observability on the data coming into the Reltio, and having better insights with clean, reliable, real-time data. Okay. Moving on to data governance, workflow. This is more of a capability that we're rolling out for our partners and our implementation or administrators who work on deploying custom workflows in Reltio. So as you know, Reltio has 3 out-of-the-box workflows, but our platform allows you to create nearly any type of custom workflow, right? Right now, the custom workflow definition, creation, and deployment is a tedious and a manual task, right? You have to do a couple of activities yourself, and then you have to raise a support ticket, and then there's a manual review of code, and then we process it, and it takes some time to get it done. This results in delays as well as reliance on other teams like Reltio support, and can take quite a few iterations to get it right. We have made significant investments in building a self-service for this capability so that customers can do all of it themselves, right? So we realize that they have a problem, right? Creating custom workflows Reltio is completely time-consuming. It's a manual process, requires multiple iterations, right? We have custom workflow developers, administrators, architects, Java developers going through this with us every day. Sometimes there are delays. Sometimes you have a critical go live going on. We are able to do what we are releasing now as a solution to this is everything is do it yourself within the workflow modeler on the console, right? So 2 key capabilities. Now you can, at any point of time, see all the workflows that are deployed. You can design your BPMN file, which was already available, but now you'll be able to see a history of it, right? Which ones were created by whom, by when, and what is the status, what is deployed or not, right? You can upload new ones, you can create new ones, and then you can deploy. So that itself is an enhancement that you can do it. Workflow modeler now keeps track of every BPMN file which is created and deployed, right? For the custom workflows that require Java custom development, the process now is very simple. You no longer need to create a jar file and send it to Reltio support using a Zendesk ticket. You can simply upload that file in the workflow modeler, and we will take care of the rest, right? So what we will do is the file will be uploaded within the workflow modeler. Our automated systems in the backend will do automatically check the code for any issues, performance, and things like that. There will still be a minor manual check, but we are going to automate it 100%. We are, I would say, 90% there. And once that is done, your jar file will be deployed automatically. So once you upload your jar file, there will be no manual intervention needed. There is no longer a need to create a support ticket. Okay. Now, there's something that needs to be done, right? For all the existing customers, if you want to take full advantage of this feature, like uploading the jar files yourself, you will need to subscribe to a Reltio code development pipeline, right? And so by subscription, I don't mean there's an additional license. There is none, right? We will give you a detailed documentation on how to have that code development pipeline, which will make the entire experience much more, smoother and simpler. So it will be a simple set of instructions that you will have to do once to make this entire process automated. Okay. So we strongly encourage all our customers to look at this process, adopt it, and work with us in making this successful. It will help you reach your time to value much faster. When you are in crunch of a project, when you are really close to a go live, you'll be able to iterate much faster when you are making changes to your custom workflow. So do look at this feature. You'll have detailed documentation. Reach out to us. We will have a community webinar on this. We'll have blogs. We'll have detailed documentation. Please review this, and please adopt it as well. Okay. Excellent capability, which will help you in your day-to-day business of deploying workflows. Yeah. So moving on to householding, right? So householding, as you know, we made generally available in 23.2 release, in the previous release itself. But the caveat was that you had to raise a support ticket to get it enabled. That is something that we are getting rid of. With 23.3, we have made a few improvements to this in this feature that will help customer address additional use cases, as well as you will be able to self-service enable it, if you want to use it, and you don't need to reach out to Reltio support anymore. So what we need to do, what we have is, like, we have added additional functions to the household calculation. For example, to calculate aggregates, averages, member counts, and etc. We have improved the configuration of the user experience of the configuration to enable householding. And there is a self-service capability to enable workflow itself. Householding itself. Sorry about that. So when you go to console now and the data modeler, you will see grouping types, and you will see a description here, and then you can just simply click on let's get started within your console, and the feature will be enabled in the background for you. No need to raise any support ticket, no need to reach out to anybody at Reltio. Okay, extremely powerful. Please give it a shot. Very, very exciting feature and a differentiator from Reltio. All right, moving on to our cloud piece, enhancing real-time performance and reliability. We are excited to again announce that Reltio is expanding its multi-cloud presence in Europe. We are announcing general availability of Azure in Ireland, Europe, right? So we did announce that we're working on it on an Ireland region for Azure specifically in the last release, but there were certain delays with that, but now we are completely ready. So customers can now store and manage data in compliance with local EU laws and regulations. We expect enhanced performance due to proximity of tech stack for all the customers, and they can leverage existing investments. For any customers who are on who have Azure commits or broader relations with Microsoft, they'll be able to capitalize on it and deploy Reltio in Azure. So if you have any requirements, please do reach out to us. Reltio is ready to host customers on Azure in EU. Okay. So with that, right, we come to an end of all the things that we want to cover today. And yeah, Terry, do you want to run the poll? Right. So on your screen, you see a poll, which we would like to understand from you, or like to know that which of the features that we announced today or shared with you are you most excited about? So give us a vote. We'll keep it open for a minute or so, and we'd like to see what you think about all the features being discussed today. What are you most excited about? Let's give it another 10 seconds, Terry. All right, Terry, we can close the poll. There you go. I hope you can see the results. Automatic unmerge seems to be the clear winner, followed closely by pre-trained machine learning models for entity resolution, data quality, now anomaly detection, metro integration. Thanks for data validation functions also coming out strong. Thanks for participating in the poll. This was good to know from you. And with that, I'd like to leave with some resources. We will share this slide deck as well as the recording on Reltio community. You can access Reltio documentation to know we are going to publish the release notes. Reltio Academy will have a course on 23.3 as well as a lot of information going to come on Reltio community, including this webinar, but all the capabilities that you see announced today will have individual webinars around them, blogs around them. So stay connected with us and community, keep on engaging. And thanks for all your engagement on the community till now. Okay, so that's it. I think we can wait. Since we have some time, we can wait and answer a few open questions on the chat, on the Q&A. If you have any questions on, for anything that we have announced today or otherwise, please post your questions. The product manager are here to answer your questions. Yes, there is a question. Can you please share the PPT? Yes, we will post it, the slides on the community. Chris Tetzel has shared the link for the community. If you haven't signed up, I strongly recommend it. A very lively, thriving community moderated by Chris, who is a rock star. And anything or everything you need to know about Reltio is there. Please come up there, sign up, engage with us, ask questions, join our excellent webinars that happen all the time. And they're very, very informative. So please sign up on Reltio community. Mark, you do not need to set anything or request preview access before GA. The preview has been, for the features that have a preview, have already been enabled in your development tenants. So you can go to your dev tenants in your and check, for example, the DVF source-based restrictions I was talking about. You can go today, right now, and check, and it has already been enabled. There is no need to request preview. If you would like to participate in early access features like anomaly detection, please raise a support ticket and we'll be able to enable it for you, or reach out to your CSM, either way. Anthony, the question is, do we need to pay for additional license for Metro? We are working on the licensing details, but yes, it's going to be additional and not included in the current platform costs. We don't know what exactly is that, and we will publish that information soon. We are an Azure shop and have it on GCP. We have in Showington. We have an ensuring tenant provision and activity with an opportunity to consider implementing Azure versus GCP. It's pretty much your choice, Frank, where your question is staying with Azure versus GCP. We as Reltio are agnostic and we provide all three cloud providers as a choice, whether it's AWS versus GCP versus Azure. So you can decide what's your enterprise requirements are. And we can work with you on that, right? The platform capabilities on the three clouds are, I would say, almost the same. Azure has a little bit differences, a few things that are, we are working on, but all the core capabilities are same across the thing or across the three platforms. So it's really your decision, and you can reach out to us offline and we can work with you if you have any questions. But there is no advantage or disadvantage per se. We roll out new regions for data sovereignty requirements, data residency and privacy requirements, or for customers' enterprise requirements, right? If they want to go with Azure. Thanks, Ashish. Thanks for the encouragement. Mark has a question. Will ML for validations be an additional license? I'm assuming you're talking about ML anomaly detection. Right now, it's an early access, so we are not talking about licenses. It's part of the platform, and in early access, any customer can ask for enablement. We are looking for partnership to test it out and let us know the feedback. So there is no additional license in early access period. We will talk about if there is any additional license when we make it generally available, but not at this point. Rob McKinsey, hello. I was hoping to see a review of UK address updates. UK address updates are going to be available. We are just covering, so a release has a lot more than what we can cover, but you will see our release notes coming out on Reltio documentation portal, and you will be able to see an update on UK address updates. It has happened, and it is available. So Rob, please head to documentation portal, docs.reltio.com, and please, you can look for more details there. Thanks, Keshav. Thanks for the encouragement. So Anthony, the question is, does auto unmerge identify the existing merge data or just the new updated source data? It identifies the existing merge data as well. So if the underlying data profile changed and that was part of your profile, merge record, then we will cover that as well. All right, Partha has a question. Can auto unmerge feature be configured to do a tree unmerge? Suchin, if you could answer live or on the chat, that would be great.
Sure. Yeah. So tree unmerge, yes, it is basically goes at the contributor level. So if there is a tree attached to that contributor, then the entire tree will be unmerged as well. Yes.
Thank you, Suchin. Thanks for all the great questions, right? Some of these things we should have covered, but thanks for bringing them out. Suchin, let's expand that in the documentation.
Yep.
Another one, can we export the automated unmerged profiles just we would export entities? A lot of questions on unmerge.
Yes. Yes. So unmerged profiles are nothing different from the regular entities, right? They are just consolidated profiles which do not meet the matching criteria anymore. Once we unmerge, they just becomes like a regular entity that you can unmerge, that you can export, and you can basically, apply additional updates to it or merge it with something else. You're free to do all of those things.
Cool. All right. I think that was, I hope the webinar was informative for you. Thanks for taking out the time. For many of you, it's late in the evening or early in the morning. Thanks a lot for joining. And we will share all this information once again on the Reltio community and the recording, including the webinar recording and the slides. Once again, thank you for joining.